In this video, I'll be unboxing the Crash Bandicoot N. Sane Trilogy. Now, before I unbox the Crash Bandicoot N. Sane Trilogy, I'm actually going to be rambling on about Crash Bandicoot. So if you don't want to hear me talk about Crash Bandicoot, but you just want to see the unboxing for this Crash Bandicoot collection, go ahead to the description below. I will leave a timestamp, and then you can scroll ahead to the part where I actually unbox the Crash Bandicoot collection. Anyway, if you don't know what Crash Bandicoot is, it's a 2.5D platformer. It's kind of a mixture between 2D and 3D platformer. If you didn't know, Crash Bandicoot was actually one of the first semi-3D platformer. The reason I'm calling it semi-3D is because when you play the game, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's not full 3D, so it's not like Super Mario 64 3D where you can go anywhere you want, but it's not also a plain 2D game like Mario, Super Mario World, things like that. It's actually in the middle. Once you play it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Also, if you're not aware, I've said this many times on my channel. Maybe you're new to my channel, or maybe you've been a long time subscriber of my channel. I've said this a lot in some other videos, but Crash Bandicoot was actually the very first video game that got me into gaming. That's right. As a kid, this was the very first game I got on my PlayStation 1, and I played this, and I love this series. Now, this collection comes with the first 3 games, so it comes with Crash Bandicoot 1, Crash Bandicoot 2, Cortex Strikes Back, and Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped. Now, on the PlayStation 1, there was actually a couple more games released for Crash Bandicoot. We got CTR Crash Team Racing, and then we also got Crash Bash. CTR is obviously, or if you don't know, it's a ripoff of Mario Kart with Crash characters. And then we have Crash Bash, which is also another ripoff of another Mario series, which is Mario Party. So you can see that they're really trying to make this the mascot of PlayStation, and they're really trying to go at it with Mario and Nintendo. Also, if you don't know as well, they really heavily marketed Crash Bandicoot way back in the day, because if you go to YouTube right now and type in Crash Bandicoot commercials, there was a lot of commercials for Crash Bandicoot on the PS1. You can even see that this guy dressed up in a Crash Bandicoot outfit. He was actually in one of the videos, in the commercial, he actually drives up to Nintendo's headquarters with a bullhorn, gets out of a car, and starts talking all this smack to Mario. It's just very hilarious. So you can see how much they actually tried to market Crash Bandicoot as like a rivalry to Mario, Sonic, and things like that. It was just a flat-out fantastic job. Also, on the box, you don't see anywhere it says Activision and Vicarious Visions, but actually, if you don't know, the original games were actually made by a video game company that we all know and love today. It is Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog actually made the Crash Bandicoot games way back in the day. As you know now, they do make other series like The Last of Us and Uncharted, which are absolutely fantastic games. You can see where Naughty Dog has really grown up as a company. If you don't know as well, they also made another series on the PS2, which was a platformer. Now, that's a 3D platformer, a true 3D platformer. It is Jak and Daxter. The Jak and Daxter series was also made by Naughty Dog. So you can see Naughty Dog is no stranger when it comes to game. And I'm just so glad to have this collection with me. Is this collection worth it? Now, this collection goes for $40 brand new. Is it worth it? I say if you've never played Crash Bandicoot and you love platformers and things like that, then this is definitely worth it to get it, because I'm pretty sure if you're to buy a PS1 and try to buy the first 3 games, it's going to cost you a lot of money, and of course you are going to be playing them in 480p, whereas now you'll be playing them in 1080p in resolutions above 1080p, because if you didn't know as well, the Crash Bandicoot N. Sane Trilogy actually supports the PS4 Pro, so you can actually go above 1080p. Now, I'm not going to say how much higher you can go past 1080p. Is it 1440p? Is it true 4K? Is it upscaled 4K? I'm not sure, but they did confirm, and on the back of the box it does say it does support the PS4 Pro. So that's nice to all of the fans who have a PS4 Pro and want to play Crash. So I would say it's worth it. If you already own the originals, is it worth it to pick up this collection? I would honestly argue, actually, no, it's not worth it, because, well, in my opinion, I think that the older games, the PS1 versions of these 3 games, actually hold up really, really well, in my opinion. Sure, you're not getting 1080p or resolutions above 1080p, but in my opinion, I just think that the old ones hold up pretty well. Again, it also, like I said before, it really just depends on how much you love Crash. If you never played Crash, even if you own the originals, do you think it's worth it to go to 1080p and things like that? And how much do you play your originals? If they're still sitting around and you don't really play them that often, then it's probably not worth it. 40 is still a good deal. They could have easily only went $60 with this collection and charged a full price $60, but it's pretty fantastic. They're only charging $40 for the Crash Bandicoot N. Sane Trilogy. Also, before I unbox this, I've actually heard on the internet that this game, it's kind of a sad deal because this game only runs at near 30 frames per second, which I'm kind of disappointed. They could have easily made this run at 60 frames per second, considering the old ones run at 30 frames per second as well. You would think with the remakes and whatnot, they would have easily went 60 frames per second, and I'm pretty sure they could have got it working. Maybe even if it wasn't on the base PS4, they could have got it working on the PS4 Pro. Either way, somehow, if they would have got 60 frames per second, even if it was exclusive to the PS4 Pro, I think that actually would have been a great deal, in my opinion, but it's just too unfortunate. Also, there is one thing I did get with my Crash Bandicoot collection right here. I got it on day one, and I was able to pick up this. Now, there is an incentive to pick it up because I was able to get this. I got the Crash Insanity Uka Uka mask. Now this is Uka Uka. If you don't know who Uka Uka is, he's basically your sidekick through the game. Instead of like having some kind of shield or anything like that, Uka Uka pretty much acts as a shield. You get him and then you can take damage when you have Uka Uka on you. So it's pretty cool. And he actually talks in the games, which is pretty cool. So I'm very glad to get this keychain. Honestly, it's bigger than I actually thought. It's a pretty big keychain. Also, one thing I did get with this game that I didn't know I was going to be getting, I actually got some DLC with the game. It specifically says on my receipt DLC, but to be honest, I'm pretty sure it is some themes for your PS4 because I was looking online and it looks like they're giving away themes for Crash Bandicoot. And you know, guys, I'm going to be rocking that on my PS4, the themes for Crash Bandicoot. I don't know which ones I'm going to be using. I'm going to have to check them out because I think we get like 3 of them. One nice thing that this has over the original Crash Bandicoots, I did forget to mention. First off, all the games are going to have time trials now, where, as you know, I think only the third one only had time trials. So it is cool. We're going to be getting time trials if you're a speedrunning person and things like that. We are getting time trials for every single game. I'm pretty sure about that. Also, there is one thing. I did actually say that it may not be worth it to pick up this collection, but also there is one thing. It's kind of minor. It depends on what person you're asking, but there is one thing about it they changed. Now you can actually play all 3 games. Yes, I want to make this very clear to you guys. Now you can play all 3 games with Coco. You can play it with Coco. If you know Crash Bandicoot's, I think, sister or cousin, I don't know which it is. I think it's his sister, but you can play with Coco with all 3 games. As you know, in the originals, the only one you can play with Coco was the 3rd one, and you can only do it on like the tiger levels and things like that. So it is very, very cool that now you can play all 3 games with Coco playable. So that is very awesome as well. Anyway, now I'm actually going to go ahead and get to the unboxing part. Here is the collection right here. Crash Bandicoot N. Sane Trilogy includes all 3 games, rated E plus 10. And then on the back, feel free to pause the video if you actually want to read everything on the back. I'm not going to go over everything. It looks like also it does take up 30 gig on your hard drive, so make sure you have space on your hard drive to put this game on your hard drive. As you can see, Crash 1, Crash 2, and Crash 3 are included with this. Will we ever get other games also? Will we ever get like a Spyro the Dragon collection, or will we ever get CTR, Crash Team Racing, or Crash Bash? Who really ever knows? But this is very good news considering I grew up with this. Actually, funny story is, a couple years ago, more like 5 or 6 years ago, in like 2011 or 2010, my dad actually wrote the actual company and said he loved the game so much. So I don't know if they were listening to him or whatnot, because if you don't know, my dad absolutely loves the Crash Bandicoot games. He's a very big fan of them. Even though he's not a big gamer and he doesn't play games really, he loves the Crash Bandicoot games, which is very funny. Oh, and by the way, here is the side of the actual disc, and you can see Crash Bandicoot actually wearing the Uka Uka mask right there on the box. So just very nice subtle details. Go ahead and unwrap this bad boy. Give me a second here. Okay, looks like the plastic is off. It should just be a disc in here, but it would actually be cool if we actually got a manual with this, which I don't think we do. Nope, no manual, but here's the disc. So there's the disc for the Crash Bandicoot N. Sane Trilogy. Let's see if there's any artwork actually under the disc. I highly doubt there is, but you never know. Nope. That would have actually been cool though if there was actually artwork under the disc. But here's another close-up of the actual disc for the PS4. And once again, this does support PS4 and PS4 Pro. So if you have a PS4 Pro, you have a 4K TV, then you can definitely get better resolutions than 1080p. I just want to let you guys know that it will work on PS4 Pro with the higher resolutions. It is going to be supported. Anyway, guys, that's the unboxing of the Crash Bandicoot N. Sane Trilogy. Anyway, guys, peace out. I'll see you guys later in my next video. I'm out, guys.